What's happening, guys? Sam Adams here, and welcome to another episode of Caffeinate. And I do want to let you know, this is Future Sam. This is the one that's here after I filmed this episode of Caffeinate, because I wanted to let you know today's episode is a little bit weird. So yesterday we had no show. I was building the brand new gaming PC and moving the old gaming PC to be the new streaming PC. It was a big deal. It was a big hullabaloo, all of that good stuff. But essentially, when I installed Streamlabs OBS, I accidentally left the audio source for my cam link on, and so there's this terrible echo throughout the first quarter of the show, so I elected to save the latter part of the show and just cut that first part off. So essentially you're cutting off the fat. It is what it is. But I hope you guys still enjoy the show. Tomorrow should be going off without a hitch. I have fixed everything and it should be good, but hey, growing pains, am I right? But I appreciate you guys being here and enjoy. However, this is a fantastic piece of news here because the Nintendo Creators Program was made in the right state of mind, because you want to make sure that people aren't using your content in a way that you wouldn't really prefer. That's what this entire thing was built on, is that you don't want people just posting raw gameplay of something instead of going to watch your gameplay video of it. I understand where Nintendo is coming from. But what they didn't understand is that when it comes to YouTubers and live streamers, this is one of the most useful forms of advertising in modern day, because whenever you have somebody sitting down playing your game, showing you how fun it can be, and elaborating on what they like about the game, that is what is convincing people to go out and get a Nintendo Switch, to go out and get a Nintendo 3DS, a Wii U, whatever it might have been. That is what convinces people that they need this experience in their lives. And so whenever you're looking at all of this and you're saying, hey, what does this mean for me? Well, Nintendo should have looked at that and said, hey, this means we should take advantage of this. Instead, they went the completely and totally opposite direction and decided, hey, let's lock this thing down to where only 5 people can make videos. And that's a bit of an exaggeration, but you know what I'm saying. So overall, now that people can go back and make more YouTube videos about Nintendo-centric content, that means that not only are they going to get more public press, which is always a good thing, more people are going to be able to make a living based off of whatever they want to make videos on, which could include Nintendo content as of now. So overall, good news story here. I think it's a fantastic way to go about doing the entire adjustment process here, and overall, it very well could mean we are going to be seeing a big change coming forward when it comes to Nintendo-based YouTube channels, of which there are many, but of which there is one that is the best, and that is Commonwealth Realm. Fantastic one. You should check that out if you are into Nintendo content. But moving on to the next story of the day, The Elder Scrolls Blades slips into 2019. That's not good. Bethesda intended to bring The Elder Scrolls to mobile devices this year, but the game in question, Blades, needs more time. The developer confirmed today that the title will now launch in early 2019. The Elder Scrolls Blades is a first-person role-playing adventure with dungeon crawling and a city-building element, albeit retuned for touchscreen controls. It seems like a decent enough adaptation. Playing a short preview build a couple of months ago, CJ covered the rebuild for mobile combat. I've never been the biggest fan of the Elder Scrolls formula, but it works well here, he wrote. Swings of my sword are activated by holding down the right side of the screen, with other actions such as shield bash, magic, and defense relegated to specific buttons on the screen. The buttons are a bit small, but I don't have an issue where I accidentally press the wrong button, which is always good. Blades is coming to iOS and Android first, but could eventually find its way to other platforms. So if you were looking forward to Elder Scrolls Blades, you are going to have to wait for a while, at least until 2019. And again, that's kind of a big deal, because this is one of those things where PR is already bad right now for Bethesda. They're having a rough go of it, as they say. And so with you delaying a game on top of the fallout, no pun intended, from Fallout 76, that's going to look really bad in the public eye. I understand that sometimes stuff is just simply unavoidable, and it is what it is. But overall, you know, still not going to look so great. So you can look forward to playing that, maybe alongside Death Stranding in June of 2019, if they happen to come out on the same day. Not saying they will, very unlikely, but could be around that time. Speaking of Bethesda, they have apologized for nylon bag in the $199 Fallout 76 Collector's Edition, and they offered $5 in pretend money as compensation. Bethesda is under fire for a falsely advertised bag bundled with the Fallout 76 Power Armor Edition. According to the description of the $199 package, it's meant to come with a canvas bag. It even has a picture of the bag, and it looks sufficiently canvas-y. I mean, look at this, and I can confirm this is a canvas bag. Now here's an actual picture of the bag. It looks like the worst possible piece of nylon you could possibly imagine. Let me break this down for you. This literally looks like you went to perhaps some kind of conference for work and they needed to make a budget, thank you for coming gift. That is the level of quality that this nylon is representing now. I'm just saying, this is possibly one of the worst things I've seen when it comes to this type of release. But to make matters worse, support staff on the Bethesda Gear store replied to one customer complaint to say the bag advertised was a prototype and that it would have been too expensive to make. You can see why people are disappointed with what seems like a blatant bait and switch. Still, the controversy doesn't stop there. Bethesda has since issued an apology, and if you prove you bought the Power Armor Edition, there is some compensation in it for you. We understand and respect that there is disappointment with the bag in the Power Armor Edition. We are sorry. Please contact Bethesda support to provide proof of your CE purchase, standing for Collector's Edition, and they will assist in granting your account 500 atoms. Ooh, to be clear, that's 500 atoms, or as I like to call it, $5 in pretend money. In-game, you can buy a skin that's wearing the canvas bag. It is 700 atoms, Yes, so you can't even buy the canvas bag within the game. Let me repeat that. This is so bad you can't even buy the canvas bag in the game. So you can buy a virtual door for 300 atoms, so you can buy 1.5 doors if you fancied it. And the official gear site has since changed the description of the bag to nylon, but the image still shows a canvas bag. And again, this is what we're talking about here. This bag is clearly a high quality, early 1940s-esque kind of situation you've got with this bag. Clearly not what is represented in the final product here. I will say that if I had bought this, I would be very, very disappointed. And on top of that, 500 atoms, or essentially $5, is just rubbing your nose in the dirt after that kind of situation. So overall, this is possibly the worst PR bundle in the history of mankind, or at least in the terms of gaming, because this game, number one, should have been, and I've been saying this time and time again, in the oven for at least another, I would say, 3 to 6 months, just to make sure that everything ran smoothly. That's the main thing with Fallout games, is that there's always a bit of jank. There's always something that's a little bit off, but especially with the PC version of the game, make sure that it runs well. That's all you need to do, and they simply didn't do that. On top of that, it's just one of those situations where a lot of anticipation was put behind this game. I mean, the Take Me Home Country Roads type of advertising, just drive that went through the entire summer, really raised this game up to be one of the most anticipated games of the fall, and overall, just completely and totally dropped the ball on this one. Big rhyme there. Very proud of that. So if you did want to make sure you had the nylon bag, you can get 500 atoms if you prove that you have it over there to the Bethesda support team. Woo-hoo. However, a game that is much more exciting for me, Anthem closed alpha is coming in early December, and the signups have started right now. You can jump into it. In a day full of Anthem news, EA and BioWare have just a bit more to say. Starting in December, players have a chance to participate in what BioWare is calling a closed alpha for Anthem, with signups going on right now. The Anthem playtest will be held on all of the platforms the game is releasing on, so PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC get their own playtest. If you get into one, you're only able to playtest on that platform. The signups are held through EA's playtesting site, so you can sign in here with your EA account, and they do link it to choose your platform and cross your fingers. Those who do not get picked will be placed on a wait list, so they might possibly still be chosen. BioWare does warn that if you go with the PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, you will need a PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live Gold, respectively, to play the alpha. The playtest will run on December the 8th through the 9th at different times. As long as you're accepted into one time, you're accepted into all of them. Expectations are high for BioWare's new shooter, but one thing you probably can expect is crossplay between the platforms, at least at launch. Anthem releases on PS4, Xbox One, and PC on February the 22nd. And so, if you want to dive in and check out Anthem for yourself hands-on, you can try and beat the rush and get one of those keys. I was unable to, and on top of that, the website wouldn't even load for me. So there you have it. Good luck with that, though. If you did want to try and sign up, or at least sign up to be on the wait list, if anything, the link is going to be in the Game Informer article, which is going to be linked below the YouTube video. There you go, if you did want to dive into that. But again, Anthem, one of the most anticipated games of the first part of 2018. A lot of stuff going on within the first 3 months. You do have the Days Gone coming on the PlayStation 4. On top of that, sort of kind of in the first part of 2018, we have what I would assume to be The Last of Us Part 2 sometime around May or June. On top of that, you have The Division 2, Anthem. As this one does say, tons of stuff going on, and this is probably my most anticipated of that specific time period. Now, the question is, can they pull it off? Is this going to be a quality game with minimal microtransactions and a genuinely good competitor to what many would be saying is Destiny 2. I think it could very well pull that off, and I think this very well could bring a lot more people into that kind of fray. So we'll see how this one goes with this looter shooter open world explorer kind of game, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it at some point in the near future. But speaking of BioWare, they say we're going to hear more about Dragon Age next month. The RPG series is incredibly important to the studio. BioWare is busy wrapping up Anthem, its futuristic multiplayer action RPG centered around exosuits, but that's not to stop us from wondering about what's up with Mass Effect and the Dragon Age series. With respect to Mass Effect, we recently saw a small news blip pop up on N7 Day. BioWare released a 4K and HDR update for Mass Effect Andromeda on the Xbox One. It was something, reiterating that there is still hope for a dubious series. General Manager Casey Hudson said that the N7 Day festivities were just a small part of the plans they are making for Mass Effect going forward, and we talked about that here on Caffeinate. On the Dragon Age front, Hudson was more concrete. If you've been following these blogs or myself and Mark Dara on Twitter, you'll know we're also working on some secret Dragon Age stuff, he said. Dragon Age is an incredibly important franchise in our studio, and we're excited to continue its legacy. Look for more on this in the coming month, though we won't tell you where to look. It very well could be the Game Awards, that is right. It's easy to assume that in the coming month is code for the Game Awards, which will air next Thursday, December the 6th, with at least 10 new game announcements. We already know that BioWare is planning on a new debut trailer for Anthem at the show, so maybe we're in for the classic 1-2 punch. I believe we very well could be. So again, all eyes are going to be on the Game Awards for multiple game announcements over the course of the next week or so. The question is, will stuff get leaked beforehand? Very well could. So I will keep you guys up to date here on Caffeinate as to when this stuff goes live, as to where you can find the trailers and all that good stuff. What I think about it could be in a video. We'll see what happens. But overall, cannot wait to dive into some of these games and learn more about what the future of Mass Effect and Dragon Age holds, specifically Mass Effect, especially after what happened with the entire Mass Effect Andromeda debacle, because that, my friends, was a little bit rough, if I do say so myself. Moving on, a new Gears of War movie is apparently in development because F. Scott Frazier has been hired to write the film that still has no title. The upcoming, still untitled Gears of War film adaptation has a writer set to take on the script, the Wrap reported on Wednesday. F. Scott Frazier, writer behind Collide and XXX Return of Xander Cage, will be writing the script for the Universal film based on the iconic Xbox exclusive franchise. Gears of War studio head Rod Ferguson seemingly validated the news further in a tweet. And so, previously it seemed Avatar writer Shane Salerno would write the script. As far as how closely the script will follow the video game series, it is uncertain at this early point. As such, casting is also pretty nebulous. We do know that Dave Bautista of Guardians of the Galaxy has his eyes on the role of Marcus Phoenix. Yes. I've been pursuing Gears of War for years now, Bautista said in a Q&A with GameSpot earlier this year. I believe it's in the hands of Universal Studios, and I've been knocking on their door and badgering them, and they are so sick of me phoning in and asking them where they are with that project. But yes, Marcus Phoenix is absolutely a dream role for me. I want that role. On the games front, we have Gears of 5 coming in 2019. Until then, fans can tide themselves over with Gears Pop, which Variety took an exclusive first look at earlier this month. And so, Dave Bautista, number one, yes, get that in there, as Marcus Phoenix in what is going to be the Gears of War movie. When it comes to video game movies, we saw Tomb Raider kind of flop. We've seen the Assassin's Creed movie be called one of the worst movies in film history. We've seen a lot of bad video game movies. But if there is one franchise that I feel can do a movie well, can pull it off in an accurate and good fashion, I think Gears of War definitely has that potential to be a big, not necessarily AAA blockbuster type movie, but it very well could be a big movie when it comes to the action that is in the game and into the story itself. And also, it does tug on the heartstrings depending on how into the story you actually get. For me, normally just blowing people off with the shotgun, but that was a weird way to say that. I apologize to all the children listening. But overall, Gears of War movie coming out in 20, maybe 20. We'll see what happens with this. Again, very early in the production, but again, I would love to see Dave Bautista as Marcus Phoenix. We'll see what happens with that one. But again, a little tidbit of information. We do have the new writer, which again is F. Scott Frazier. I almost said Fitzgerald, and I was like, wait, that's not right. So, GameSpot is doing fine. GameStop, however, is reporting strong quarterly sales, but a $488.6 million loss. GameStop reported mixed results for its third fiscal quarter, which ended November the 3rd. On one hand, sales for the 13-week period were up almost 5% year over year to $2.08 billion. The PS4 and Xbox One X helped drive the 12.8% jump in new hardware sales, and software was up 10.9% thanks to the launches of a ton of big games, which we could talk more about. However, on the other hand, the company reported a net loss of $488.6 million. I can't read numbers tonight. It's been a long day. For the quarter, far from the $59.4 million net profit it posted the year before. That swing was attributed to a goodwill impairment charge of $557.3 million. The company attributed to the substantiated decline of its share price. And for those that wonder how far it has gone down, a couple of years back, it was $47 per share to get in on some GameStop. However, today, $14.63. $14.63. That's a big, big drip. But the company's earnings report hasn't turned that around, as GameStop stock is now changing hands below $13 in after-hours trading. GameStop COO and CFO Rob Lloyd said the company was particularly proud of its performance in October, saying the company's U.S. physical game sales jumped 63% for the month, while citing NPD Group numbers saying U.S. physical game sales jumped 46% overall. However, both numbers underscore the industry's increasing shift to digital when one considers that the NPD Group reports U.S. overall physical and digital game software revenues as more than double year over year. And so right now they've got a lot going on here. With those that are not paying attention to GameStop and what's happening, over the past 5 years or so, there has been a big transition from just doing game sales into more product pushing. So if you've been to one of your stores recently, you might have noticed that there's a giant section of t-shirts, collectibles, pop vinyl figures, etc. That kind of garage sale-esque kind of stuff. That's a big part of the store now. So that's been a big part of what they've been losing money on, because a lot of people go in there and they might pick up something, but overall it's just a whole bunch of overpriced garbage. So as you can see in this report, in this article right here, it does say somewhere around in here that the main cause of this is pretty much because they're not getting used game sales, and on top of that, people aren't doing the technology brands division, which is down 12%. So, again, a lot going into this, but right now what you need to know is the GameStop is doing okay, still not doing well, and is still down year over year. So, will we ever see the closure of GameStop? Absolutely, at some point. I mean, when it comes down to it, the digital game sales are going to overtake pretty much anything you could ever imagine. It's just going to be a big deal for the foreseeable future. It's just so easy. Whenever a game comes out, for instance, whenever Spider-Man came out, I just went on and downloaded it. Didn't have to go to the store, didn't have to do anything. Super easy right there. But speaking of downloading games, the Xbox One backwards compatibility category has now been getting a couple of more games, which I need a article for. So, you know, we'll just go ahead and just go ahead and talk for a minute and just there we go. GameSpot right here. Xbox One backwards compatibility is a beautiful thing, and let me tell you right now, it has added 3 more games. A knight, a hedgehog, and an alien walk into a bar. Pulled it out right there. Microsoft has notched 3 more Xbox One backwards compatible games to its growing list. The trio includes a cult favorite action RPG, a Sonic game, and a game based off of a pair of famous movie properties. The 3 editions are Kingdoms of Amalur: Reckoning, Sonic Unleashed, and Aliens vs. Predator. Amalur was a single-player RPG developed by Big Huge Games and the now-defunct 38 Studios. It was meant to introduce the world in preparation for an Amalur MMORPG, but that project never got off the ground. And as a result of it being the only project from the studio that never received a sizable loan from the state of Rhode Island, it was also the center of some legal drama, or instead it did receive that loan, as we can see now. About the legal drama, earlier this year, THQ acquired the rights to the franchise, so a new one could be a-coming. Sonic Unleashed is one of the 3D Sonic games, which tended to come with their own gimmick. In this one, Sonic would transform into a powerful werehog to less than spectacular results. Alien vs. Predator is a 2010 action game that puts you in the shoes of the title Aliens, singularly deadly predator, and gooey colonial marines. While Sonic and Aliens vs. Predator received middling to bad reviews, Kingdoms of Amalur actually got a fairly positive reception. In the GameSpot review, critic Kevin Van Ord credited its wonderful battles against cool creatures, terrific looting and leveling, and lots of ways to customize your skills and equipment. So if you did want to pick up any 3 of these games, or if you already had them in their physical forms or in their digital forms, you can play them now on your Xbox One. which sounds like a pretty good plan. But that wraps up today's show. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and if you did, and this is your first time watching, I appreciate you watching all the way through. I know there's a couple of technical issues here and there because we are still getting used to the new PC and whatnot. I believe the audio for the beginning of the show was a bit messed up, but hey, I try. I do. But I appreciate you guys being here again. Thank you to Bugabee for the bits. It's amazing to see so much support here and there. It is just great to have people watching the show. But if you did want to follow me on Twitter at PrettyChillGuy to know when the show does go live, I would love that, and I would love to have you over there. On top of that, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel at youtube.com/SamuelAdamsMedia. But as for right now, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of the night. I will talk to you soon, and peace.